Let's be honest, we're all looking for happiness. But what if the secret to real, lasting peace isn't about getting more stuff, but about healing something deep inside ourselves? Today, we're going to dive into a spiritual teaching that says the key is finding a guide, a guru, who helps us see the things we just can't see on our own. It sounds like such a simple question, right? But really, take a second and think about it. You might have the nice house, a good job, a comfortable life, but does that add up to genuine, deep down inner peace? According to the perspective we're exploring today, there's usually something else going on, something invisible that gets in the way of that total contentment. Okay, so here's our roadmap. First, we'll get to the heart of the problem, what this teaching calls the soul's hidden sickness. Then we'll talk about the solution, why a guide is so important and what their real job is. After that, we'll get practical and look at the 4 paths of devotion before we finally get to the ultimate goal, the big promise of liberation. All right, let's jump right in. We're going to get to the very root of our inner turmoil. This teaching argues that our fundamental problem, it isn't what's happening outside of us. It's not our boss, it's not our bills. The real issue is way deeper, inside our very soul, or what's known as the Atma. And this is a super important point to get right away. We're not talking about physical health here. The teaching uses this really powerful metaphor of disease to talk about spiritual problems, these invisible sicknesses that have a very, very real impact on how we feel every single day. And here they are, the 6 main spiritual ailments. You've got lust, or kam, anger, krodh, greed, lobh, stubbornness, hath, ego, man, and finally, jealousy, or irshya. Now, according to this viewpoint, these aren't just little personality quirks. Oh no. They're seen as active, powerful forces, like viruses, that infect our soul and keep us feeling restless and unhappy. And to show you just how serious these are, the teaching points right to one of Hinduism's most sacred texts, the Bhagavad Gita. This isn't about just having a bad day. 3 of these, lust, anger, and greed, are described so powerfully, they're called the gates to hell. They're seen as things that actively pull us away from who we're truly meant to be. Okay, so if our soul is sick, you're probably thinking, well, can I just fix it myself? According to this teaching, the answer is a hard no. It's like you wouldn't do surgery on yourself, right? You'd go to a doctor. For spiritual sickness, you need a spiritual expert. This comparison here just nails the point perfectly. When most of us close our eyes and try to look inside, what do we see? Usually just a whole lot of nothing, right? Darkness, a mess of thoughts. But a saint, someone who is spiritually realized, they see divine light. They have a kind of inner vision that we just don't. And that's exactly why their guidance is considered absolutely essential. So this brings us to the big solution. If we can't heal ourselves, who is this doctor for the soul? The answer that this teaching gives us is the guru, a truly capable spiritual guide. Now, let's be clear. A guru, in this sense, isn't just a teacher or an author of a self-help book. The specific term is samarth guru, a capable, living master who is a direct, breathing connection to the divine. They aren't just handing you a map. They are the actual bridge to that ultimate reality. You know, think about it like this. You can go for days without food, maybe a couple days without water, but how long can you go without oxygen? Only a few minutes. Well, this teaching uses that incredible analogy for the guru's role. They are that essential. They are the soul's oxygen. Without that connection, the soul just can't breathe, it can't thrive. In the original talk, the speaker actually says the word needed 3 times back to back for major emphasis. It's a way of saying, listen up, this is absolutely critical. The point is, this isn't just a friendly suggestion. It's presented as a non-negotiable requirement for anyone on this spiritual path. Okay, so if finding a guru is the answer, how do you actually forge that connection? This isn't a passive thing where you just sit back. This path lays out 4 very specific ways you actively build that relationship through devotion and service. The whole foundation of this relationship is a concept called preeti. And we're talking about something way more intense than just casual respect. It's a deep, powerful, loving devotion, described as being like the love you have for your closest family, or even the love you have for your own body. It's about putting that guru at the very center of your heart. And that deep love, that preeti, gets expressed through action. Specifically, 4 kinds of service. You have service with your body, through physical actions, service with your wealth, through material support, service with your mind, by keeping your focus on them. And then the highest form, service with your soul, which is a complete and total spiritual surrender. So, after all of this, diagnosing the soul's sickness, finding that true guide, and then connecting through these 4 kinds of service, what's the payoff? Where does this all lead? Well, we've finally arrived at the ultimate promise of this path, total liberation. And this is it. This is the grand transformation. The soul is finally cleansed of those 6 diseases we talked about at the beginning. All the negative habits of the body and mind just start to fall away. Your life itself becomes blessed, and you finally reach that state of unshakable peace, real happiness, and divine joy that you were looking for all along. So we'll end with a question for you to really think about. As you look at that list of 6 ailments, lust, anger, greed, ego, stubbornness, and jealousy, which one, if any, do you think might be the hidden reason for any